So it's the right name for the place is Maye.
It's Maye.
Yes.
Not My.
We call it My, but
Okay.
originally it was Maye.
Maye.
And I also got this from the book that was written and published by Dr Sifiso Mnisi Zondi.
Okay.
He wrote an amazing book
about the...
Yes.
Welcome to Educate Africa with Dr. Gamede. It's such a pleasure once again to be with you. It's always incredible to have these conversation or family meeting, whatever you can call it, but it's always nice as well to read your comments. I just want to firstly give the shout out to everyone who is part of this family, the Educate Africa family. Make sure that you always tell a friend. I've been reading comments from different people in different social media platforms. We are grateful. As a team, we are working hard to ensure that you get the best. But speaking of the best, I have one of the best, a dear friend of mine who's also a colleague. I don't know which one between being a colleague first and being a friend. I think because we are talking about is Kotane, I will say he's a friend first before he's a colleague. Dr. Sifiso, who's with me today on Educate Africa. He has something to educate us as South Africans, as Africa, and the world at large. My brother, it's good to have you. How are you doing?
Dr. Gamede, hello to you, and thank you so much for having me.
It's always nice.
I want to also do a shout out to all the followers and viewers of Educate Africa. It is such an honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's great, my brother, and it's nice that I am having a conversation with you.
Yes.
They say charity begins at home.
Of course. Of course.
I don't know if it's charity though. You should be careful with the choice of words. Someone will be offended with, what do you mean charity? Am I a charity case or something? So it's always nice to have a conversation at home and outside. Remember, Educate Africa is a platform for Africans. And I had promised everyone that I will have from time to time a conversation with people from South Africa and many African countries. And of course, there's nothing wrong with having people from outside Africa as long as they aim to educate Africans. And I just want to dive deep to your intro. Mina, I know you as a colleague, as a dear friend of mine who loves inyama enhlogo.
So it's the right name for the place is Maye.
It's Maye.
Yes.
Not My.
We call it My, but
okay.
Originally it was Maye. And I also got this from the book that was written and published by Dr Sifiso Mnisi Zondi.
Okay.
He wrote an amazing book
about the...
Yeah, so it's Maye.
What was happening? Is the Maye as in like screaming?
I think in the it's more of when you're exclaiming Maye.
Okay. Maye, like yes. We are Tuga, we are Memeza kind of a thing.
Yeah, so it just came to be known as My.
Maybe having Johannesburg as a cosmopolitan city and having people from different areas and backgrounds and being a tourist attraction as well.
Yes.
Because it was there's that area where Jos Maboneng.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the word my changed to my for some reason. So there's someone my family, the Educate Africa family, don't know who Sifiso is, except mina le engmazi nje ngalomjita that we work together, that we have inyama enhloko together. Maybe a bit of an introduction on something that maybe people don't know about you.
Yeah. I think indlela engayichaza ngayo uSifiso wakwamnisi.
Okay.
However, people don't know me as Sifiso Mnisi. They know me as Sifiso Zondo.
That confused me as well.
Yes, because Zondo is my father.
Okay.
And my mother is Mnisi.
Okay.
But also, even with the name Sifiso, it's not on any official Home Affairs documentation.
Okay, that's
so
a little bit weird.
So I was born as Jabulani Good Hope Mnisi. But then later on, my grandmother named me Sifiso. And of course, Zondo is my father's surname.
Okay.
So I always go by Sifiso Zondo. Unless I need to do something that is official or sign an official document, then Mnisi comes up, and Sifiso even disappears. Then Jabulani Mnisi comes up.
Manag, but on your, because I work with you,
yes,
on your email signature, there is a Sifiso Zondo there, and you are saying Sifiso is not even in. So what made you decide to take igama likagogo ulisebenzise officially?
Ekhaya igama bangazisa lona. In fact, I was also surprised mase ngibona ama certificate angasise primary.
Okay.
Uthi uJabulani. Usifiso ubani now?
Igama ugogo akunikeza lona
after.
Oh, okay, okay.
Lasebenza lelo gama ngaziwa ngalo. Ngikhula nje mina ngikhulela eDaviton.
Okay.
iDaviton is in the East Rand.
Ngiyabona. Yes.
Ngikhula khona ngazalwa ke ngizalelwa ubaba ngusipho.
Okay.
Good man.
So you grew up with your granny. That's why.
No, sahlala kagogo.
Oh, okay.
We moved.
That's why los Sifiso continued to be the name,
yes.
Because ugogo uyena wakunikeza uSifiso. Why etsufisa?
Ake ngutshele kodwa kwesinye isikhathi bangibona izinto ehamba kahle ngiyacabanga ukuthi bayefisa lokho.
Okay.
Yeah,
Speaking of izinto zihamba kahle,
yes.
You are one of the educated fellows at the University of Johannesburg.
Yes.
You are lecturing there. I joined you in this institution, and maybe take us through that journey studying, and why did you find it important to be in academia?
You know, the funny thing is that I never really made a conscious decision.
Okay.
To be an academic.
Oh, okay.
But it seemed to be something that followed me. I remember,
what do you mean?
There was a job interview.
Yes.
That I went to in 2011, I think.
Okay.
2010.
Yeah.
It was from it's a media company.
Okay.
They do media analysis.
Okay.
And at that interview, we had the conversation. It went well.
Okay.
In fact, I'll name Prof. Nixon. He's the director there.
Of that media house.
Yeah.
Okay.
He interviewed me.
Oh, okay.
And then after we had our conversation, he said, "So you want to now move into the corporate space?" I said, "Yes."
Usanda graduated with your undergrad degree.
And then I think I'd finished honors at the time.
Okay.
Honors, masters. I think masters was in the horizon there. So he said to me, "Norman, are you sure you want to come into corporate?" I said, "Yes. As I'm looking for a job."
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Then he says to me, "There's nothing against you." You've done
during the interview.
Yes.
Okay.
So we had the interview, we finished.
Oh,
after the interview,
okay.
he said to me, "Let's have coffee."
Yes.
And then we started talking. He says to me, "I need to be honest because my conscience would not allow me to keep quiet about this." So he asks, "Do you want to be in corporate?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Sure?" I said, "Yes." He says, "The sense that I have is that if I take you now,
yes,
I would be robbing the country of Dr. Mnisi."
And ngalo mzuzu you have an honors degree.
Yes. I wasn't even thinking about pursuing
a PhD.
No, never. I was not thinking about it. I said, "Why?" He says, "The way you think, you have the potential to contribute to that space."
In the education space.
In the education space. In a very big way. I'm not saying you won't survive in corporate. You can do it.
Oh,
But I
that
think
was prophetic,
you
man.
need to go and do your PhD. He told me that straight.
Was he an academic as well?
He was an
okay.
academic, but of course then he
Branched
he
into
branched into
corporate.
He had his own company.
Okay.
Very, very big company, very well respected as well. So he said to me, it's not because you have done terribly in the interview. You did very well. And I can give you the job.
But
This is the sense that I'm getting. That was very profound. Those words stuck with me. But of course, at the time, you want a job.
yes, yes. Did you take the job?
No, I didn't.
Because of his words, Norma.
No, he said to me, I know if I give you the choice to either take the job or go and study, you will not go and study. So
That was painful.
I'm not going to give you the job. You need to go and start.
Manage. Use Davidon. Ngaleso sikhathi.
Yes.
You're looking for a job.
Looking for a
Here
job.
is someone saying, no, there is something bigger with you.
But at the time, I had another job that
You were doing.
Yes,
Okay.
it was more of an opportunity that I saw.
Oh,
within his
okay.
company.
It's
because,
an
the
improvement,
analysis,
basically.
Yes.
Okay.
And I had studied journalism.
Okay.
And of course, I did journalism work, and then I thought, let me branch into something different.
Yes.
And I saw that opportunity with his company. That I thought maybe let me pursue this. And then he told me that. It was disheartening.
It was, I can imagine. In fact, you are reminding me of someone firing me. I don't want to say where because I can recall those words. I didn't take them so kind at the time. Nami, I was hurt. But that person was like, you know what, hiring you full time here Monday to Friday will be like having a chain on your feet, tying you down. When you are supposed to spread your wings, and at the time, I think you don't think of those things.
You don't think about it. In fact, you feel like you're being discriminated against.
Yes.
Because what then happened is years later, in 2023.
Yes.
After only having engaged with Prof. Nixon in 2010, 2011.
Okay.
We met right in this room where we are having the interview in this studio. Then I'd become...
So now you are a doctor.
Yeah, I'd finished my PhD and
you are in academia because
academia.
You started with the IIE.
But before the IE, of course, I moved around quite a bit.
Okay.
Because, I did stay in corporate a bit. Because
Okay.
I was like, Prof,
I need the job.
This is my life. I need to eat. So I stayed there. I went to government as well. Worked in government for some time.
Okay.
I think I work at DID.
Okay.
Department of Infrastructure Development. Gauteng Department of Infrastructure Development.
As what? Communication?
Yes, in the Communications Directorate.
Okay.
As a media liaison.
Oh, okay.
So I moved, and somehow academia kept
Followed you.
finding me. Yes. Then was at UJ for a bit. Left UJ, went to UNISA.
Yes. I remember UNISA.
Was at Varsity College.
Yes.
Later on,
You went to the IIE.
I went to the IE.
Yes.
Stayed at the IE as the head of program, became senior head of program.
Okay.
And grew in that space as well.
And you were in charge of making sure that what students receive.
Yes. We are designing the entire curriculum, managing it, from conception through to the entire life cycle of the qualification.
And at the time, because I taught at Varsity College,
Yeah.
I didn't know you were the one who were creating
No, I was the one
the
behind.
very same curriculum that I was teaching. I learned when I joined UJ that you were part of the people
Which
that
was
made...
very interesting when we met, because you came to UJ on
2023.
23.
Yes.
I just returned to UJ from the
IIE.
Because at that time, I think when you were at the IIE, I was senior head of program. Then I became deputy dean for research. So I spent some time in that role.
Winner.
And then left to come to UJ because I thought, I need to become professor now.
Follow. So what does he say
So
when he meets you in this room?
It was very fascinating because then I'd become the head of school of communication. So
Yes,
there's an event that we have annually with our partners
Okay.
from Nigeria.
Yes, the MTN one.
The MTN Media Innovation Summit.
Okay.
That we co-organize with Pan Atlantic University in Nigeria.
Yes,
So
yes.
so we are organizing that summit in 2023.
Okay.
And then we're looking for speakers. Of course, there's another colleague that we work with who, was quite key in us, being involved in the Media Innovation Summit.
Okay.
Right? So she played a very key role in that. So they knew each other with Prof. Nixon. And then, of course, when you're inviting speakers, she invites Prof. Nixon to be one of the speakers, not knowing my history with Prof. Nixon.
Interesting.
And then we meet. I said, Prof. Nixon is coming. Then I told her the story.
And I'm sure you were doing the introduction
Yes.
of speakers.
It was a powerful moment. And of course, often people who impact others in a great and positive way are not always aware. They might not even remember you.
Yes,
So he did not even remember me. But I remembered him.
So he can't even remember you during the event.
But of course, now when I explained to him who I was,
I'm that guy, and he's like,
and then it clicked.
I'm sure he was proud.
It was a beautiful moment.
Yeah,
It was a very beautiful moment, and that is why to this day, I hold on to the importance of being honest with people, not being afraid to hurt them or disappoint them at that moment.
Yes.
As long as you're being honest with them, that honesty will impact them positively tomorrow.
I think you are touching something very interesting. I want us to move on to this wonderful book that you have written, but we are touching something really great because my question was, how did you find yourself in the education space? And I see that it was more of a calling.
It followed me,
but speaking of touching people without you knowing, what could you say? Now I see the profile of our students. Ingafani na the type of students that we were thina nawe when we were still students taught by our professor and all of that.
Yes.
So what could you say to colleagues, maybe taking this opportunity, looking at the fact that someone didn't even give you a job because they saw something in you which you managed to fall? I don't know, looking at the profile of students that have changed drastically, the teaching and learning space is quite different from what we had. So maybe what could you say to colleagues?
It's a very complex space.
Okay.
But I think my colleagues in the academy need to allow students to find themselves.
Okay.
They need to encourage students to be brave.
Okay.
I think if we can teach students those skills, the ability to look inward and reflect,
I see.
and be brave in pursuing whatever they believe in. And
Okay.
of course, with some necessary guardrails,
Yes,
so that they do not
yes.
derail academically and so on. But if
Yeah.
we can teach them to be brave and to pursue whatever they want, we will be doing them
Justice.
a lot of justice. Yes.
Oh, I see. Because, I mean, they come here with so many dreams.
Of
And
course.
some of them, Dr. Sifiso, it's quite surprising. And I'm sure others, they are part of this community, the Educate Africa community, where they come to the education space and they discover some careers within their career, or they came here because they were selected in that career. It's not necessarily that they wanted to study these qualifications. So it's a complex space, as you are saying.
Very, very
and
complex.
I really appreciate your honesty on that part. And I want you to be honest with me.
Yeah.
How has it been in the academic space?
So no one really studies to become an academic.
That has
It's one of the careers that you just...
I have complained before. Yes, I'm happy that you are bringing this point. Sorry to interrupt, because I mean, you studied to be a nurse. You studied to be a social worker.
Yes.
But you never studied to be a lecturer.
No, you don't study to be a lecturer.
So continue, sorry.
There might be qualifications, of course, in higher education.
Yes.
Practice and so on. But you don't really study to be a lecturer.
Like
an
how you will
academic.
study to be a nurse.
It,
So
it just
so
happens.
how how has it been?
For me, I will be honest with you.
Yeah.
I love this job.
Okay.
It gives me space to reimagine the world,
Okay.
to interrogate the world,
I see.
right? To explore and experiment with whatever questions I might have.
Yes, either from students or from the research that you are doing.
From the students, from the research. In fact, when we speak about the book, I'll tell you something interesting about one of the chapters in the book as well. Right? So it is a space that it's an honor, in fact, to be an academic. Of course, like any other profession, there might be challenges. I'm not really exposed to a lot of those challenges, unfortunately.
Yes, yes.
But it's been great. I learn a lot.
I see.
I can be myself in this space, and at the end of the month, of course, you get gratitude for that.
I see. So, would you say you are following that prophetic word that Prof spoke into your life?
I'm not always thinking about that word.
So it's not
I
a
never
guiding
think
compass
about
in
it.
a way.
It's not here in my. I suppose he spoke what he felt, which was very,
Yes.
very powerful.
Yes,
And it got me
yes.
thinking.
But interesting enough, it didn't shape your decisions into this space.
Whenever something within the academy follows me, it becomes more of a confirmation that this is where I need to be.
Quite interesting. Quite interesting. And speaking of prophetic word, you took a turn which I never imagined. I'm not judging you.
Now, judgment is about to come.
I know when someone says, I'm not judging you, they're about to judge you. And I'm taking this book because there is a word, Lapayana Eliti, is kotane.
Yes.
Which I know you will interpret it in English for our community that is outside Africa. That
Yes,
I mean, outside South Africa that do not know what is kotane mean. So,
Yes.
so the reason I'm saying I never imagined you, speaking of prophetic word and stuff like that, I've never imagined you being called and being a spiritual person, because you have been a free-spirited bird, if I may put it in that way. You are very supportive, very loving person. I mean, I'm not going to share some of the conversations that we have had when I started in this role, some of the guidance that you gave me, which I appreciate, by the way.
Yes.
But when I heard, and I didn't hear from you, I don't know why, I heard from my mentor, Prof. Sarah, that you have answered the call. How did that go about? Like academia, now getting into spiritual life. How did that came about?
No, you see, Doc, I suppose when we had the conversation from Sarah, it was a side conversation, like a by the way.
Yes, yes.
She was also, surprised because, often when we are in the workplace, there are certain conversations that you didn't have, and maybe we should be having them, in fact.
Okay.
But, and so spiritual, suppose maybe because spirituality is quite diverse, and someone is probably wondering what.
Yes.
So I'm in ministry.
Yes.
Right? I've been in ministry for many years.
You kidding me?
I've been in ministry for many years, for a very, very long time.
Meaning you grew up in a more like spiritual family, church environment kind of a thing?
Yes, that, but also, of course, after some time you leave that.
Okay.
And then God calls you into it.
Okay.
You know that God is calling me into ministry.
I see.
So I've been in ministry for a very, very long time. I'm those people who would, very young, in fact, in my 20s, I would, just...
Hamba camp.
Yes, gather my friends, get in the car.
Okay.
Yeah, last time we went to, I think, there I was about 24 years old.
Yeah.
Just got into the car, drove to KZN, just to do a crusade.
Manage to join a crusade or to do a
Not to
crusade.
do a crusade. Just
Nina
decided,
yourselves.
Yeah, let's go. So I've been in ministry for a very long time, and
Interesting.
it's such an honor to be called by God
Yes,
into that space where you share the word of God, you preach the word of God, you preach love
I see.
to people, you preach salvation to people. So it's a beautiful space to be in, also with its own challenges.
Yeah.
And I suppose balancing all of this is a person might think it's difficult in terms of time.
Okay, I wanted to go there,
In
the
terms of
balancing,
timing is very important, because you don't want to be out there pastoring when you're supposed to be lecturing.
I see.
But of course, I'm one person, so what
Yes.
I am is what will radiate in
Okay.
everything. that I
Do I interpret it correct when I say what you are trying to say is there is no Sifiso at UJ and then Sifiso in the church? What people see is what they get everywhere. You are this child of God everywhere, and you demonstrate that in many ways, anywhere you are.
That's exactly the correct way of describing it. I am that. It's just that how I am, as you would, you would not hear me, for example, when I meet a person, good to meet you, praise God.
Because mina ngabona
very superficial.
izikhothane nje when I met you, and quite surprisingly, I also thought you were much of a traditional kind of a person.
Yes.
Labo bhutlaba besintu like you. I'm sorry. And where's nawe sinempandla, but me I managed to grow my hair back.
I wonder
So no, I had my ways. I had to grow it. When I can't appear on,
I'm
on
surprised,
TV.
man, actually.
Yes,
What's
yes.
going on?
I'm
You
growing
even-
my hair.
You even trimmed your hair.
No, I will give you my receipt. So when I saw you, I'm
Yeah.
seeing lo bhuti waselokishini odla inyama enhloko,
yes.
and who is
Mnisi
ubhuti
Zondo.
thank you. Your Zulu is also deeper than the Johannesburg
Yeah.
Zulu. So when you welcomed me in the department,
Yeah.
I really felt welcome, because ngisuka KZN at the time, ngiza Gauteng, Johannesburg. So I'm meeting this Zulu like, hey, insizwa kithi. So I was very comforted. So I never imagined, but I guess, as you said, we should be probably talking about it. Sometimes share, even though in a corporate or in a workspace, abanye they feel like, hey man, nango ke no Jesu wakhe.
Yes, that's because there are many religious beliefs and so on.
Yeah.
But I suppose no one is prevented from sharing.
Okay, because sharing is
The
just
freedom.
sharing.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah.
But the person that I am in the workplace
Okay,
is the person that I am when I'm at home,
I see.
or when I'm in the church,
I see.
when I'm out there ministering. Of course, the topic might be slightly different, but the person remains the same.
I was thinking of diverting and picking his brain, not his brain, picking ngimsukele nje ngibuze ukuthi uganwa nini, speaking of home. but ngizomxolela and make sure that I but ladies, he is available. He is available, and from our conversation, I know he can't say this himself. From our conversation, from time to time, nankaniwe, and I think you are older than me. Yes, so nkaniwe mina iminyaka
12 years.
Been married for 12 years now. I'm younger than him, so I've always picked on him and be like, hey, when are you getting married? And he's like, Doc, anytime. and he says he's anytime very serious. He's like, Doc, anytime, I'm ready, as long as God gives me. I love that always about him. He always says, whenever God gives me that person, I'm ready. And ladies, sengiyahleba manje. I need to say this, ladies. He even have an account saved whenever God gives him a woman, a God-fearing, that's one of his prerequisites. So I'm done with marketing you. You should pay me. You should pay me for marketing
We'll
you.
make you a guest of honor.
Yeah. I was about to say, whether I'm invited or not in that wedding, I would be like, hey, maybe it's one of the listeners or one of the subscribers for Educate Africa. So, Doc, how has it been being called by God and serving faithfully? I saw recently you had a very successful. It was a week.
A week, yeah.
A week, yes.
5-day crusade.
Yeah, revival for a week.
Yeah.
My dad is a pastor, so I know very well how it takes. In fact, I will be announcing very soon, Nami, some of the moves. So I'm still hiding a little bit there and there. So how has it been?
It's been amazing.
Okay.
I think being in that space where you're able to serve God.
Yeah.
Because I'm still fairly young. I'm not 40 yet.
Yes.
You know, but and I've been with God in my 20s. I'm now in my 30s.
Yeah.
And I think I have, as God has allowed me, been able to reserve some of the best years of my life.
I see.
To be available to God.
I see.
Use me as you want. So it's been great.
So you still have the energy?
No, I still do.
Okay.
I still do. In fact, I'll be those ones in their 70s, 80s. I'm still out there organizing gospel crusades because I don't want to be in one place. I want to move.
I see.
The word. So it's been great. I've been learning. I continue to learn. In fact, one of my, prayer points of late is, God, teach me how to be humble.
Okay.
In everything that I do.
That's profound.
May I be a humble person.
Okay.
Because when you are humble, you are able to connect with people.
Yes,
and
be able to serve.
Exactly, able to serve. Because if you are a pastor, you are there to serve. Not to be served.
Yes.
But if you're not humble, you cannot serve.
You twist the whole thing around.
You want to be served.
And I want us to close with this very important conversation, which I think it's part of the conversation that I wanted us to have, which is this incredible book, Performing Masculinities, Izikotane in South African Township. I'm sure abazalwane they were confused. Izikotane, our pastor and Izikotane, what's happening here?
Yes,
where is this coming from?
When I started working on this project, it's because I wanted to understand how people make use of consumption to make sense of the lives that they live. All right. So, for those that do not know, the subculture of Ukotana, which is practiced by Izikotane, yes, is a subculture that gained prominence or became notorious in South African townships in the early 2000s.
Is that old?
It's very, very old. It's just that it was mainly popular in Gauteng.
Yes.
And then we started seeing it, of course, spreading to other provinces such as the Eastern Cape.
We saw a lot of that,
So it would involve young males, right? Most of whom were school-going age, still in high school. Right? Who would buy expensive clothes.
Like the one you are wearing today?
Yes, actually like this one. So the brands would include a DMD, which is an Italian brand.
Yes,
right? So their clothes were mostly brightly colored, like this one. This, in fact, is a Skotana t-shirt. A jacket. Right. So
and have the necklaces.
Yes, like the necklace, or
maqiqi and
and gold teeth.
And gold teeth. Yes.
Everything that would suggest they have got wealth, right?
As young as they are.
Yes. So they would use that. Anything that says I'm wealthy, they would use that.
To include borrowing their uncle's BMWs or cars to pretend they have money.
So it could be borrowing whatever.
Because of course they were going. These are young people going to school at the time.
Yes, they're still in high school. But others, of course, might have finished and so on. But they would organize performances after school
Okay.
right? In large intersections in the township. They'll close off the intersections and they'll be playing music, say from a minibus taxi.
Okay.
They're playing music, the sound would be thumping, playing house music. And they will start dancing. So it becomes a dance
In the
off.
middle of the street.
Yes, in the middle of the street, they dance, compete with each other and other rival gangs or groups
Yes.
of Iskotane. The gang is a negative connotation.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
crew
Okay.
of Iskotane. They would compete with each other. So the competition would include dancing,
Uh-huh.
trash talking each other. So
Okay,
telling each other off.
while in
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yes, you introduce themselves. I am so and so. You know, I do this. I have got
I
this
have
money.
this,
what
yeah.
is this one? And then, of course, when you talk like that, whatever you say invites testing.
What do you
we-
mean?
We need to test the claims you are making.
Oh,
that you've got
okay,
money. So how do
okay.
you test it? If you've got a T-shirt, you must now
Oh,
rip the T-shirt apart. I'm not ripping this one apart.
It's expensive.
I got carried away. So
Oh,
she had
okay.
the T-shirt, and they loved Ultramel custard. So they would have Ultramel, pour the Ultramel on the ground, write the name of their crew with it.
Damn.
They would even use alcohol, expensive alcohol, whiskies,
To show off.
yeah, to even wash hands with the whiskey.
Wow.
Pour hands.
It
I mean, point
was
on the hands and wash.
an interesting culture,
It
eh?
was. They would ban notes at times, ban clothes, ban shoes, drink alcohol off their Cavella shoes. Pour
So that's
the-
the culture
the-
of Izikotan.
So it was about that. But what caught people's attention is that why are they behaving like this? Because realistically, they cannot afford to be destroying such things.
Yes,
Because they mainly
yes.
came from working class families,
Okay.
where the parents either work, if employed at all.
Yes.
There would be domestic workers or general workers, administrative assistants, drivers, or just informal
These are
businesses.
coming from like normal families. These are people that are not
They are not
well
wealthy.
off.
Yes, they were not wealthy, but they still did this. And I thought to myself, why? I need to try and understand this. What's going on? Because it was easy to dismiss it as being wasteful. Being,
Yes,
there's
yes.
people
Of
who are
course, as the
illogical.
society, we were calling them names.
Yes, they are stupid. They waste what they cannot afford to be wasting, and so on. I thought we need to make better sense of this. It's unfair to just
Dismiss
push
it
them away. Yes,
without understanding it.
we need to understand what's going on. That's when I started the study. Because one of the things that I would question myself on is, at the time, when people had to register for higher education or
Yes.
apply, at the time, back then, I started this project a long time ago, of course.
Okay,
So,
okay.
some people would not go and study because they would say they don't have money.
Yes,
But an
yes.
application fee at the time was less than a pair of Cavella shoes.
Yes,
so I'm thinking, what
yes.
do you mean? Because you can apply and then maybe find
You have ripped
and
off
that's
a
fast.
T-shirt.
Yeah, what's going on there? So we had to understand it more in depth. So that's how this came about. But then I said to myself, well, these are men, young men
Yes,
in the
yes.
township space that are doing this. So why is it that it's mainly men and not women or young girls? doing it?
Was it only men?
It was only men that were doing this. So I
Okay.
had to understand what was going on. And I thought, well, if you want to make sense of what men are doing,
Yes.
you use the lens of masculinities.
Yeah, or that's where
Yes.
the performing masculinities comes
So I
in.
thought, how do people in townships make sense of manhood or what it means to be a man? I thought, how then do they perform masculinities? I thought, okay, let me try and link this idea through to consumption. So how
Okay.
do we perform manhood through consuming?
I see.
And that is the link that I made. I had to say that, in fact, it seems for these young men, there is an understanding that being able to afford certain things or to have money, would qualify you to be considered as a real man in their
Yes,
space.
yes,
But of
yes.
course, just having money without people being able to see it would not be sufficient.
Enough
So you
to
need
you
to
be a man.
Put it in evidence
I see.
through consumption. But the problem is, they might perform this
Masculinity.
money.
Money,
Performing
yeah.
having money.
Yes.
But in reality, they don't have it. So what then do we call that? Because, people who study consumer behavior or consumption would speak of this type of behavior as being conspicuous consumption. So conspicuous consumption is when you consume in order to draw attention to your wealth.
I
But when you
see.
see this, we don't see, for example, a tablet, or we see how much money you have, depending on the brand. All right. So for these guys, conspicuous consumption as a framework to describe their behavior became insufficient, because when we see them, we don't think they are wealthy, we don't respect them as being wealthy, we become annoyed. Say they are wasteful. So it can't be conspicuous consumption. Then what does it become? Because it's not that. Their behavior
doesn't
does not
fit
draw attention.
there.
Yes,
Yeah.
So then I started speaking of aspirational consumption. And I thought they are not performing the type of masculinity that says they are wealthy, but they're performing the type of masculinity that they aspire to attain. All right. So then I speak about aspirational masculinities, and of course in the book, as I said earlier on, there's a chapter that I think it's chapter 8 or 9 that is about social change. So how do we envisage change in our society through the lens of consumption? What can consumption tell us about how people think, about how people live, and about what people aspire to attain in society?
It sounds like a very packed and a nice book, and I want you not to make a mistake that I've done with all the books that I've written. When I'm called for an interview or in a book launch, I end up giving away the
entire
book without giving the teaser. So I don't want you to go in detail, but I'm sure someone who has always been interested in understanding izikhothane, especially elokishini, emakhaya, because we do have izikhothane nasemakhaya. So who wants to understand this subculture, this book is now available, right?
It is available on all major bookstores around the country.
I saw you launching it recently.
Yes, it was at Exclusive Books just the other day. It is available there. It is available online. Take a lot, loot, Amazon.
You made sure it's available everywhere.
We cannot exclude you from experiencing this amazing thing about
so it doesn't damage on the packet on my wallet as well.
It is not. If
and
you
worth
get
it
online,
at the same time.
It definitely is. In fact, I think it's underpriced.
Now you are complaining.
In fact, I joked the other day. I said, even an unemployed person
can actually afford this book.
If you get the 350, you'll still have change. So instead of bread, eat this book.
So in case you're complaining with 350, in South Africa we have this unemployment grant that is 350. I'm not calling everyone in Africa to come to South Africa, but we do have this unemployment grant that government is trying by all means to assist unemployed graduates to ensure. So Dr. Sifiso is saying take a portion of that and make sure that you get this book and understand this masculinity. I mean, I love the book cover.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when you launched it here in at the University of Johannesburg, my students were writing, so I wasn't there. I really love. I'm going to get my copy as well. I need to make sure and stop this habit of getting copies without reading them, because you are the books that I have in my study rooms. It's a lot of books, but an author myself, I always support. Other authors and all of that. So a few minutes before we wrap up, I just want you a message to men, especially young men. There has always been complaints in South Africa. We have been called men are trash and what, all the names that we have been called, and we have been very much active and sometimes in a bad way. Sometimes I always argue that when it comes to gender-based violence, the word the letter G doesn't mean women. It's gender, which means it can be any gender. But I think it's always us sometimes as men who are seemed brutally abusing and killing and all of that. So speaking of performing masculinities and speaking to men and the book, you were studying for many years, these young men and all of that. What could you say in your parting words? What could you say to young men in South Africa and in Africa at large?
Men, you are not on your own.
Okay.
You have got other men
Okay.
to stand shoulder to shoulder with.
Okay.
You have got women to stand shoulder to shoulder with.
Interesting.
So that we create collectively a society that is friendly towards men and women.
Okay. Instead of creating this petition.
It is a collective responsibility. But also men, we need to speak. And by speak, I mean we need to not live as if we are islands.
Okay.
Because most men suffer in silence.
Okay.
They live inwardly as opposed to living outwardly, speaking about their challenges, speaking about
what
their aspirations,
yeah.
Seeking help even.
Okay.
We need to become more vocal. And if we start doing that, part of the battle will be won. And we also need to be clear about what we should be doing what we shouldn't be doing. We shouldn't be partaking or engaging in any forms of gender-based violence.
Of course, of course.
Whatever the causes may be,
yes,
we cannot encourage that. We need to make sure that men seek the help that they need in order to survive and in order to become better for themselves and for the generations to come. Because as much as we are older now, there's also the boy child that needs to be looked after. And if we fail now, we'll be doing so at our own peril. This unfortunate situation that we find ourselves in on the continent and in the country will continue to exist. So this is the time where we stand up as men, say enough is enough. I will not partake in violence and I will seek help when I need help.
You speak like a married man. Ladies, as I said, he's ready. He's a man enough, he's ready, and he's a father as well. I recently learned that when I was inviting him to this interview, which is quite great. He's a very reserved person, but he is outspoken when he is given a space to speak. He's very grounded, as I've seen and learned about him. But the car that he drives, the last time I checked, it is very close to Izikotane. I'm not going to say the brand because they didn't pay. And speak of paying, Dr. Sifiso, thank you so much. I just want to say my parting words, but I just want to say thank you so much for gracing us as the Educate Africa family. And we are very much sure that you are going to invite your family to join. And when I say your family, the people that follow you on social media, the people that love your work, please encourage them to be part of this exciting family where we educate Africa. And with that, I say thank you for your time as well. And speaking of time, it's such an honor to be housed by the University of Johannesburg library for this amazing conversation that I've had with Dr. Sifiso. And they've great facility, as you can see, for you who will want to have such conversations, whether you're thinking of starting a podcast or you want to have a conversation. They have a great facility, and I really appreciate them and giving us an opportunity, because it's about like Kaya, so it's always nice to have a support from home. And speaking of support, I would like to encourage everyone, and with a very loud admission that you guys told me to start a podcast and you didn't tell me that it doesn't grow like this. So I will definitely love and encourage and ask you personally, let's grow this family together. Please make sure that you share this platform with whosoever that you think will benefit here, and let's keep it going. My student, one of my first year students, Dr. Sifiso, shouted at me when she found out that I'm wearing this T-shirt and I use this signature.
Yeah.
I use these words. It's possible because it's doable every time when I send an email to them. So she finds that I'm wearing this. She's like, why are you not wearing this when you are coming to class and telling people that you are selling?
Yes.
And it is available on my website as well. So the merchandise is there. The book is from Dr. Sifiso is available, as he have said. And we do have books that are available. We have services such as coaching, speaking that we have. And please collaborate with us. We love to have collaborations from your company, or suggest who you will want us to have a conversation with. So all in all, I am just appreciating and I'm asking that we work together and to have your support in driving this conversation. The dream is to have all 50, is it 55 African states now? Yeah, 55 one day represented in this podcast. Because it is Educate Africa. So yes, there is a lot coming. Stay tuned. And I'm just lucky to have you as part of this family. Remember, it's possible because it's doable. I love you and take care.